Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I'm Gav, and this is Chris. It's Kev. It's your post-match reaction for Spurs 1, Liverpool 0 in the first leg of the League Cup, Carabao Cup, Milk Cup, Rumbelows Cup, all of them cups. And 1-0 from the Tottenham Stadium tonight to Spurs. Liverpool play in about a month's time. I think it's the second leg. It's about the 6th of February, I think. But Liverpool have gone down 1-0, and we are here with your reaction. Matt is usually host of this show, but he's working. It's only 1 o'clock in the day or something in Canada. I know that's not true, but I'm just going to say that to annoy him. Anyway, look, straight into it. Ashley, I'm going to come to you first. It's a 1-0 defeat. It's one of those games where when I see in the lineup, I know you like to go through the lineup, and when I see in the lineup, I thought, what's the priority here? I genuinely did think, what's the priority here? Because I think he picks a very strong midfield to balance out the fact he's playing three of the back four that need minutes, and definitely a striker that needs minutes. I was wondering what the priority was. Was it winning this game or getting minutes, and hopefully getting minutes and getting something out of the game? But it didn't go that way. Did the lineup surprise you?
I feel like some parts were stronger than I expected and some other parts were weaker than I expected, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't expect him to change three of the back four. I thought either Trent or Robertson would start. So I was surprised to see Bradley and Tsimikas start. I think Kwanzaa was always going to play. I don't think Konate is actually full 90-minute match fit. The midfield, I thought Elliott might have gotten some minutes there. Either as a sub or just in general. I don't know what's going on with him. Morton was out with an ankle injury, so he was out of contention. The forward line, I think it was a toss-up. We were talking about it last night. Is Jota match fit? He did not look match fit to me tonight. But yeah, I mean, overall, that was a team that was strong enough to have done more than what it did tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, like in fairness, they're all the players that come in are first team squad members. It's not like we threw in players where you go, wow, where did that come from? Chris, the lineup is out. It's Allison, it's Bradley, it's Kwanzaa, it's Van Dijk, it's Tsimikas, it's Gravenberch, McAllister, Jones, Salah, Gakpo, Jota, and it looks fairly strong. But again, I was looking at particularly the three of the back four, going, geez, I probably would have dropped. You see, my thinking on this, Chris, I didn't go into the lineups in the show I done this morning, and I didn't do the preview. And my thing on it was, you have a game against Accrington there, where you can absolutely get minutes and you can really kind of focus ourselves in on Forest next Tuesday. Where, I was thinking, go in tonight, go in strong, give Robertson a chance to put the wrongs of Sunday right. The same with Trent. I wasn't too bad. I wasn't too worried on Kwanzaa because I thought he'd play with Van Dijk and maybe Konate would play with Kwanzaa the weekend, something along them lines. But did the lineup surprise you? Were you a bit shocked by that? Did it change your opinion on what we're trying to do here, or did you just think, no, that's okay, they need minutes, but they should go out and win this game?
I thought they'd have to manage the first 20, 25 minutes when you change three of your back four, which is probably why they kept Allison in. I was all right with Jota starting. I thought, but it's a combo of you hope to hit the ground running, and I'll be honest, Liverpool just never got going. That first half had shades of the Man United game. That's how I felt about it. And in the whole game, I think there's a Darwin headed right near the end, and there's Darwin chance, which is an okay save by the keeper. Other than that, there's nothing massively created. I mean, to be fair, don't think they create two big chances. One they take, one's a good save by Allison. So it felt like a game that was petering out to a 0-0, and we'll come into the ridiculousness of the last 10 minutes. But yeah, I'll be honest, that's a couple of performances now back to back where we've just looked slow in the press, overhitting passes, not getting around the pitch as quick, just look like gone down a level. And I'll be honest, it just felt like a game where I didn't think we were going to score it. It felt like a 0-0 written all over it. So that's my slight concern is I think we've looked abject now, definitely the last two games, but yeah, we just look off it, and it's quite frustrating at the moment.
Yeah, Kev, like a couple of names have popped up there in the chat when we talk about lineups and indeed the subs he makes and stuff, and one's Elliott and one's Chiesa. And somebody asked me earlier, what is the point in this fucking fella Chiesa? I don't know. And I don't mean that in a way of I don't know what the point of him as a player is. I just don't know what the point of having a League Cup game and not giving him some minutes in it. And I'm feeling more sorry for Harvey Elliott as the days and weeks go on. But when this kicks off, Kev, like, let's get into the game and you can talk about the line. But when this kicks off, to me, it looks like a Spurs team that they kind of have to play. That they've a lot of players out, and a Liverpool team that you're trying to give minutes to, but you're trying to be as solid as possible as well. It all looked very disjointed for me for large portions of that game, and I don't know whether that's just two teams not playing right, unfamiliarity, whatever it might be. But for the vast majority, I just thought it was fucking boring me, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, you've seen this kind of 0-0 cup semi-finals first legs a lot over the years, and that's kind of what it felt like. Take the league game out of it, the 6-1. Anytime we ever go to Spurs, it's whatever it was. It doesn't matter because it's that long ago now in the memory. It doesn't matter. But that's a freak result. It is. You know, it's like they completely collapsed, and they would have had that in the memory. Say, we're not going to do that again. We said last night, whatever front six they put out, 3 in midfield, 3 up front, are good enough to cause anyone problems on the day. And you take liberties against them and they'll punish you. So I can understand why the press wasn't quite right, because Jota definitely doesn't look match sharp. Definitely doesn't look match fit at all, because Slot a couple of times pulled him during the first half, telling him where to be, telling him where to drop off. And halfway through the second half, the first half, it almost clicked into gear for him, because that's when he started to play a bit. But you look at their 11, right? Keeper makes a debut. You don't know what he's like. You don't know what his footwork is like. You have no idea. Yeah, played really well. His feet are really good. Mother is 21 years of age, coming from a side in the Europa League, top of their domestic league, and won the divide. So, and by the looks of it, a good modern day keeper. That centre-back partnership has played a few games together now. So, and we know they can both play football. But as for the rest of it, it's pretty much as you go Spurs midfield, really. Bergvall is a new young kid. They've got high hopes for him. The rest of it is all first-team players. Bentancur, Basuma, Kulcetis.
Yeah, it was a team they had to play.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and they had to go for it. They couldn't allow Liverpool to just dictate the game again. And that's how they started off. They started off with that intent. And the first chance they really had caused a really good save from Alisson. But other than that, both sides played like, the final pass wasn't right. It just wasn't flowing, the football from either side. When we were trying to play out from there was a few times in the first half you could see when it really worked well. Everyone just got the ball, one touch, pass, one touch, pass, one touch, pass. And we got up the pitch really well. And when we started to really push on it towards the second half of the first half, and we started to dominate possession and dominate the ball, that's when we really needed to score. We needed to score then and go in at halftime. I think I counted them up at the end of the first half. We had 5 shots from the 45th minute to the end of the half. And most of them were on target. And and another day you get one of those going. Gakpo especially had a couple of half chances, but we didn't do enough to win it. But at the same time, I don't think we did enough to lose it. It was just a really frustrating game to watch. But at the same time, I don't think it's as bad as what people would like to make out. Second loss of the season, but we were far from battered. It's not like you're coming off there. He had a stinker. What's going on there? Where there's drama. It's far from that. It's just you're going to get frustrating nights like this. A long season, 10 months. You're going to get nights where it's just not going to happen for you. And this is not an easy ground to go to.
No, look, Brian O'Halloran says, it should have been 0-0. I think so. I to be fair, when I look through it, I don't think Kwanzaa has to go off, and I don't think he's any good at the start of it. I think he looks extremely shaky. Bradley gets minutes in. He's okay.
That's all right.
He's okay. He gets minutes in there. I thought Tsimikas grew into the game as it went on a bit. People are lashing Curtis Jones, but what
It's an easy one to do, though, isn't it?
Well, he
It's
look
always,
for
it's,
me.
it's always,
It's always going
Look,
to
it's
be.
always, it's
I'll
always
give
a Scouse lad to go for, isn't it?
Well,
Let's be
to
honest,
be-
it's always the same lad.
Well, what I'm going to say to that is, right, if you take Curtis Jones in on his own in this game, right, he didn't have a good game.
Misplaced 2 passes all game.
Yeah, but he didn't have a good game. And you see, my thing on this is the player that's in that position needs to be really fucking strong in the press. He needs to really fucking work hard, and when he gets it, he needs to be creative. That's the 3 things. I think he worked hard. I don't think he was great in the press, but I don't think the whole team was. And I just don't think he creates enough. I don't like him in that position. Right? I don't like him there. I'd rather him one back.
I'd rather Elliot there.
I would if you told me you were going to play. Look, we're not going to play Gravenberch. We're going to put McAllister back. You're going to put Jones in there, and you're going to put Ellie in there. I go absolutely fine. I just don't like him there. I don't think it suits him. Right?
Is that would you do that in a semi-final? Bearing in mind you've made 4 changes already.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I think the fact that he makes 3 changes at the back, I don't think he wants to disrupt. When I say 3 changes, 3 players that needed minutes, I don't think he wants to disrupt that midfield and try something different. That's where he covers him, where Slot tries to cover himself. But for me in the whole game, like somebody said there earlier, like where's the control gone? Where's the controlling element? Where's the looking out for each other, covering for each other? And that's my big thing. Liverpool seem to be gone a little bit too open for me, and making a little bit of a tennis game. And I'm not mad about that. But actually, look, you know, as someone said there, it should have been 0-0. As we go through the game, Alisson makes a good save early on. You know, by the time, look, I'm even thinking when it gets to half time, I think both teams have about, I think it might be 4 shots each. You know, but did it feel to you like it was going to be a game where it just went on, and it's a 0-0 or maybe a 1-0? The quality wasn't there from either side.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was there from either side. I think 0-0 would have been a fair result. I think, you know, it's the first half of a 2-legged tie. And so going into the second game 0-0 wouldn't have been the end of the world. You probably would have come out of that and said, it's a pretty decent result. I don't think that losing 1-0 is an awful result either, to be fair. But I think it was just, you know, it was very conservative. It felt very conservative. And I felt like, you know, I expected a little bit more of a response to the game over the weekend, just because we were so abysmal in that game. And I was surprised that we didn't see like a little bit more energy and a little bit more aggressiveness. I think the only person that really looked aggressive was Connor Bradley, because he was just throwing in slide tackles left, right, and center, which was refreshing, but I was also afraid he was going to injure himself. I don't know. I hate the games where you come away from it being like just enormously aggrieved by a referee's decision. And that is ultimately how I come away from this match. It's less about the fact that we played poorly or whatever. It's more about the fact that there were a couple calls at the end of that game that were just absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, Chris, like, you know, there is elements to the game where it's just poor, you know. And when you we could go through the whole team and we could go through, you know, what player done this. A lot of people in the chat are saying Salah was poor. I thought Salah was poor.
I think he was.
Yeah,
he looked tired.
Yeah,
I think he was on the pitch.
Yeah, and I don't expect him to play at the weekend. Genuinely don't.
No.
You know, Jota, I'm just amazed. Now, maybe this is the next step up for Jota in terms of, because he's had about 10, 15 minutes.
Just so you know, apparently Kwanzaa's not injured. Apparently he's ill.
Oh, okay.
Sots confirmed he went up with illness, not injury.
Okay, well, that's okay, cool. You know, when you look at Jota, he's had 10, 15 minutes here there. He's had way more minutes. Way more minutes. He does look miles off it. He looks absolutely miles off it. Gakpo was probably the one player up front, I thought, where he was trying to do a bit. He was a bit more active. He was a bit more involved. But when you go through the whole team, like, I don't like. If you want to tell me that Curtis Jones was poor, fine. I thought McAllister was actually quite good. Gravenberch was okay, but
as a unit, it didn't work.
As a unit, it doesn't work. And I think this is the thing for me, Chris. If we don't work as a unit,
that three has worked as a unit, but just the all round, it's just off in terms of, because even when we do press them, normally have one of the fullbacks come in to help press them and get a 4, and we weren't doing any of that. So it was quite easy for Spurs to get it to a fullback and chip it over the midfield. And that's where we were. Tsimikas just looked like someone who hadn't played for weeks. It's not his fault. Kwanzaa was the same. I actually thought, to give him credit, I thought Endo did well at centre half when he came on. I thought he actually slotted in quite well. I actually thought he looked calmer on the ball than Kwanzaa did. To be fair to him, I thought actually Endo did quite well. I thought the Karate sub was weird.
Yeah.
That's where I think you could question Slot, where I actually would have just said, if you want to take McAllister off, drop Jones deep and put Elliott on. Why are you putting a centre half off for 10 minutes? He's only just coming back from a knee injury. And to be honest, Kanate again, he looked miles off it. I mean, we can talk about the degrees of the goal of us not having the second yellow, but he's too easy to knock off the ball. That had shades of the Wolves goal. We can see that.
Yeah. Jonathan says flogging players in a semi-final of an energy drink cup. It's a season killer. I wouldn't go that far. And to be funny, I don't think he did flog players. That's the thing.
No.
I think if he was flogging players, he would have went much stronger. Or you could argue, but I think again, I go back to the start. My thing on it was priorities. And when I looked at that lineup, I went, the priority isn't here to go out and bash this. The priority is to stay in the game, stay in the tie, and that's not hindsight, because people that say, oh, well, you lost 1-0, it's staying in the thing. It wasn't. When I seen that lineup, I thought to myself, this is a case of see what we get, but we're getting minutes into these players. I do agree, though, to a point, Jonathan, on the flogging of some players. I don't understand why Salah plays all them minutes. I genuinely don't understand why Gravenberch plays all them minutes.
I assume it's because they're getting 7 days off now.
Yeah, but the thing is, why not change it a bit more for players that are fit, if you get me?
Why not play Trent for a little bit longer?
I was just because he made so many changes in the back.
Get time off.
Yeah,
you can only make 3 blocks of substitutions in a game.
I get that. But
Kwanzaa was 1. He made the 2 for the 2 forwards, and the third one was
halftime is free.
And of course, we're all going on about flogging players, right? We're all going on about flogging players, but we know for a fact that these players are assessed
after a week off.
But they're, yeah, they are usually. But they have every fucking graph and reading and everything to know where they are with regards to how they're performing, how much they're running, blah 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 blah. So they know a hell of a lot more than we do. I just think when you look at that, I keep going back to it. I'm not too sure on the priorities, but when you pick a defence like that, you have to pick a midfield like that. Unless you're going to go all out and go, no, listen, we're picking that defence, we're playing Endo, we're playing Jones, and we're playing Elliott. And then we're going to put Chiesa on the right, and we're going to put Darwin through the middle, and we're going to pick whoever you fucking want down the left-hand side. He goes half and half. I'm just not sure he went the right half. I probably would have went stronger in defence, not weakened it, but played lesser. Players had lesser minutes in midfield, and made your defence the one where you kind of go, do your job, and then we can bring on your Bradley, we can bring on your Tsimikas and whatever else. He didn't have really a choice with Kwanzaa, because I don't think Kanate is anywhere near fit. But then he brings him over 10 minutes, which was a bit mad. Couple of talking points in the game, Kev. What's Alisson at? He makes a brilliant save, right? And look, we can't be all doom and gloom. I know people are going to go, what are you laughing at? But come on, look, it's a game of fucking football. There's more important things in life. But Kev, he makes a really good save, and then he's like, nah, I'm going to go for a wander here. Let's see what fucking happens. What is he at?
Look, thinks he has more time than what he has. In fairness to, I think it's Bergvall is his name. Yes. He gets up really quick and gets back at him a lot faster than what Alisson probably thought he was going to. He thought he had more time than he had. Tried the Cruyff term. He does it 99 times out of 100 in the season, and sometimes he gets caught. He's like, look, there's a reason why goalkeepers think they're footballers. Most of them ain't. He's generally not too bad at it. But he has that odd that odd flap every now and again in the season. But I honestly don't think he gives a flying fiddlers. I think it's water off a duck's back to him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And
he'll do it again. He played, Kev?
No, because he needs minutes. And look, I'll tell you this, right? Jota, Bradley, Alisson, Kwanzaa, Tsimikas. if they're in the squad, if they're in the matchday squad, they're fit and they should play. They're not going to get match sharpness sat on the bench watching people play.
Yeah.
All right. This is the third competition of the season for me. The FA Cup is at the bottom rung until you get into the latter stages. So it's the league, it's the Champions League, it's the League Cup, and then see where you are in the FA Cup. That's the priorities. So I want Jota play. I've no problem with the lineup that he played. I've no problem with Jota getting an hour and being crap and ropey because he needs matches. He needs minutes to get match sharpness. And I'd rather him get match sharpness in this game and in the game at the weekend than need him for the Forest game because of someone picking up a knock. All right, and if Alisson does need minutes, Kelleher get the game at the weekend. All right, and look, we all know Kelleher is probably going in the summer anyway. Alisson is more than likely going to see out his contract. So I know which one I want to keep happy. As for Mo Salah, why did he play the 90? By this time in the season, Mo Salah is normally off at the AFCON somewhere because they fuck around so often with their scheduling. So Mo Salah is used to playing plenty of minutes. He's physically in great shape. He had a shit game tonight because nobody could get in the ball. Yeah. And when he did get in the ball, no one could fucking support him.
Yeah. All right? I took him off. But I took him off. Nothing to do with minutes, just because he was poor. I actually thought because I would have took Gakpo off. I thought Gakpo was the best of the front three.
Yeah, and he's been the most dangerous in this particular competition.
Yeah, I know, but I get that argument. But at the end of the day, Mo Salah is the one that gets you goals and assists. If it's a tight game, it was 0-0. Bearing in mind, it was 0-0 at the same time when Kwanzaa came on as well, or when Konate came on at the end. So, at worst case scenario, you bring on Konate and you see out the 0-0 draw and you go on to the second leg. Yeah. But if someone's got to do something out of nothing and have a shit game for 89 minutes and just produce something, it's got to be Mo Salah. So for that alone, you'd leave him on there.
Yeah.
Plus the fact he could be off. He could be off in 6 months, and it's not our problem. Let him go. Let his legs fall off on someone else's time next season.
Yeah.
Run him into the fucking ground.
JJPK says, and by the way, Cereal Milk, great name by the way, agrees with you. He says he needs minutes, and I doubt he's playing at the weekend. So there you go. JJPK says, fucking great result. A route up the hole. I'm loving you already, mate. They look tired. Whole team rested for weekends. Go hard against Forest. Szoboszlai back, so we never have to play Jones again. Well, okay. Anonymous again, playing with 10 men. You see, I agree with a vast majority of that, and I don't think Jones was good. But this Anonymous again, playing with 10 men stuff is just a little bit over the top for me. Somebody else said it. Actually, somebody made a great point there, and I will get it here because it was an interesting thing where they said Jota would. Sorry, I'll find it. I do want to find it because I want to read it out. There, Zupdog. He says Jones was playing too far away from the 2 6s, as you would say. I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think if he gets if he drops back a little bit, I think it helps us play around Spurs. I think we ended up trying to make a big area in the pitch between McAllister, Gravenberch, and Jones ahead of them, and nothing filling into it. Nothing filling into it. And I think that's a good point.
There was a point in the first half where Slot called Jones and Jota over to him, and he told them both one drops back and one goes. So decide amongst yourselves who does it, and it was Jota. Jota just halfway through the first half dropped in a lot deeper to pick up the ball, and the first time he did it, he got the ball halfway inside our own half, went on a run, and him and Salah linked up, and Jones was the furthest forward. So it's stuff that you think should be automatic to them, and they should know this from the start. But Diaz is very good at it. Diaz is very good at doing what Firmino used to do, dropping into either wing to create overloads and to create 4v3 in midfield if you're not having one of your fullbacks tuck in to create overloads there as well. And for the first half, we weren't. We were very rigid in a 4-2-3-1 where Jota was too high, Jones was too close to Jota up high, and nobody could get the ball in between the lines. When that changed, McAllister started creeping forward. You started to see McAllister picking up balls from Virgil along the ground and from Costas along the ground, in between the lines, in front of their back four, and that started to commit players. But this is still all trial and error for the players as well. We all think that this is the finished product under Arne Slot. This isn't. It's far from it. And couple an away first leg of a semi-final with a side who probably 4 or 5 of them look either tired or ropey. I don't think they're tired. I just think they look short of match sharpness. And the fact that I bet you, if you went back, when was the last time that 11 played together, you'd struggle to find it. So, and it's still 1-0. And we still have more shots. We still have more chances. We still have more of the ball against a side who are as high scoring as Spurs, one of the highest scoring sides in the country. And we were shite, and we still did enough to get something out of that game. So
a lot of people are asking him. A lot of people are asking him, like, is this a sign of things to come? Is it, they're talking about needing reinforcements and stuff like that. We will talk about that towards the end. The other big talking point in the game, actually, and I'm not going to go through every single moment in the game. It's late. But the other big talking point in the game, well, there's 2 of them. One is the goal, but the other one is the person that scores the goal in Bergvall. The argument is he shouldn't be on the pitch. Now, I think it's a definite second yellow, but I'm not sure on the first one. And before anybody fucking tries to slit me throat here for saying that, I already did. Well, you already did beforehand. You got very fucking upset. But my thing here is that it goes back to the referee, and I think, this is just my opinion, I think the ref gives him a yellow, the first yellow, and I think he thinks he might have made a bit of a mistake. And when the second one comes, I think he looks and says, "I've made a mistake on the first. Do I give this?" And he still ends up with a mistake. But actually, to kick us off, you've put a quote in here, and I'm going to throw it in here. We usually leave these to the end, but I'm going to. He said, "Postecoglou on the late controversy. We've been told that if you play advantage and it's not a cynical foul, then the player doesn't get a booking." I've never heard of that before. He could be right. I'm not saying he's wrong. But should he be on the pitch, in your opinion?
I mean, I'm pretty sure there is an exception if there is an advantage and it's like a tug back or something, where if it's, if you play the advantage, then you don't go back and get a yellow card for that. But he absolutely cleaned Tsimikas out. So that's not on the table for this. That was a late tackle, a dangerous tackle. It should have been a second yellow card. I don't really care about the first one. If he made a mistake, he made a mistake. But at the time where that second tackle happened, that player was on a yellow card. He should have been on a second yellow card. And not only that, Costas was off injured when that goal was scored as a result of the fact that there was that awful tackle. So it was sort of like a double penalty for us. I think he made a mistake. I don't think that Bergvall should have been on the pitch.
Yeah.
Dale
sorry, just a couple of things on this. I'll let you in now, Chris. Faster Tortoise, or Stay as I call him, says Trent got a bullshit yellow once and then did the yellow card challenge and didn't get sent off, and we were fine with it. That's Newcastle away last season. And I know exactly what you're talking about. They do him for kicking the ball away, and then he comes across Anthony Gordon, I think, and doesn't get sent off. I do remember that. Anthony says, "I've never heard of that rule." Sam says, "Aaron should be arrested for those comments. What's he on about? The tackle couldn't have been more cynical." Hotline says, "I have also heard that one, Gav, but can never find any evidence. My understanding is that if an advantage is played, a yellow isn't issued." I'm not too sure on that. I'd have to check it out. I'd have to check it out.
Your mate Dale Johnson, the VAR guy from ESPN. He's put that should have been a second yellow for Bergvall. It wasn't an attempt to stop a promising attack, which wouldn't result in a caution because the move plays out.
That's what I was referring to.
It was a reckless tackle, and it should have been a booking regardless of the attack. So, Ange, not for the first time.
It's supposed to be two separate things.
So tell me this then.
On someone's jersey, for example.
Because they're saying that the tackle's reckless. It's not. It doesn't matter if he went advantage. It's still a yellow card.
But if Bergvall comes over and tugs Tsimikas on the short,
Tsimikas' jersey, and they play advantage with like the arm signal,
right,
then the yellow card, according to the rules, as far as I understand them,
you don't get a caution for that because we're giving you.
You don't get a caution because you still get the advantage. But if it's a reckless tackle, it doesn't matter. Even if you do play advantage, you're supposed to go back and yellow card the player.
Okay. Okay.
So once again, a referee doesn't know his own rules, which is
okay. That's interesting. Chris, do you think he should have been on the pitch? I'm presuming you think he shouldn't.
No, he shouldn't have been. I mean, Liverpool should have defended it better, but like Ashley said, you had the double whammy of you had no left back, and it came down his side because he's off the pitch from the foul. So it's a little bit of a perfect storm. And then we have 2 penalty shouts, and the second one, I cannot get my head around why VAR are doing this bollocks going, the on-field official hasn't given it, so we can't overrule it. He's volleyed him in the leg. Anywhere else, it's a penalty. We've conceded penalties.
And this is obviously, Chris, this is obviously a new fangled thing that they've just brought in.
New threshold.
Where they just go, listen, and when we talk to each other on microphones, we get ourselves into awful trouble, and Howard's having an awful time at Michael Owen. Just not the fact that he's with Michael Owen, it's probably an awful fucking time, but the fact that he's being questioned by Michael Owen. So what we do is we just stop doing stuff. We'll just let the ref call it. I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but is that where we're at?
I think they're at the point when, like, unless you say it's a clanger, don't change your mind. But it has always been a rule that if you volley a guy in the back of the leg and don't get the ball, it's a foul, regardless of where it is in the pitch. And listen, does Kulusevski deliberately do it? No, I don't think he even knows he's there. I think he's trying to volley the ball today, but it's an obvious pen, and Mo probably would have scored it because his record of pens is very good. So if it finished out 1-1, I think we all would have gone probably fair. But it's just Spurs away, and it's interesting.
There's always something interesting going on.
It does seem to be.
Yeah,
I just took the rule in to the chat.
Okay, I'll throw it out now. I just want to read a few comments from Zupdog because he's thrown in a couple of comments. He or she, I'm not too sure. But they say, let me see. We found ourselves a little too behind the forward runs. Ended up stopping the forward momentum to play it back. Something's amiss. Reinforcements won't fix the aspect, in my opinion, of transition play. We stretch ourselves and leave big gaps between players to load small triangles. Big difference also in the 6-3 was we won a lot more second balls and individual battles. We either a half pace off the dual winning moments or not winning the battles at all, with supporting players too far away to win the second ball, i.e. Jones was in the wrong spaces a lot of the time. Thanks for that. Enjoyed reading that. Good, and a good insight into the game, in fairness. Let me see now, because there's that many comments gone in now. I'm going to have to find it. Look at this. You've put the rule into the chat. Let me see. Oh, here we go. So it says here, if the referee plays advantage following an offence that would have resulted in a red or a yellow card being shown, the card must be shown the next time the game stops. If the offence was stopping or interfering with a promising attack, no card is showing, as playing the advantage allowed the attack to continue. I understand what you're saying. The thing is, I still think that's muddy water, because what they're saying there is that if the referee plays an advantage following an offence that would have resulted in a red or yellow card being shown, the card must be shown the next time the game stops. So there's no difference between what he does there and actually pulling a player back, because pulling a player back is a yellow card. Do you get what I'm saying?
There's an extenuating circumstance, basically. So if they give the advantage and they pull a player back, like a jersey pull, for example, the yellow card is null and void because the advantage has been given and the play continues. If it's a reckless tackle, like we saw tonight, then you still go back and give a yellow card even if advantage has been played. So one gets a yellow card, one doesn't.
Yeah.
It's that gray area, though. It's a gray area.
Okay.
It's one of those things, Gav. If all things have been fair and equal, we probably would have got a draw. I assume we could say that one. That's the new mantra now, isn't it?
Yeah, and like to be fair, when I looked at it, I still go back to the fourth yellow, and look, whether you agree or not that it's a yellow card, I do think the referee has decided, if this fucker gets in trouble again here, what do I do? Because look, put it this way: if he gives him a yellow card, right, and he's off the pitch, if we're the Spurs podcast, we're sitting here going, he's off that pitch and he should have never been off because the first yellow, and I think the referee he's not thinking of the podcast.
He's shit the bed.
Yeah, I think so.
He shit the bed.
Yeah,
he shit
I think
the
so.
bed. It was a big decision to be made, and the decision was too big for him.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. He just fucking bottled it.
I think so.
But saying that, I mean, we defended it poorly. I didn't realise Costas wasn't on the pitch until I saw the replay from the pitch or the camera that was by the bench when they showed the run. And Costas was sat there on the side waiting to come on. So that would explain why Virgil was coming across one. Konate, I mean, look, Solanke just holds Konate off. Konate is the wrong side. And Solanke's a big, strong boy. He'll hold most players off. And it was a good touchback, and it was a good finish. All right? But Endo, again, didn't track the run. He just didn't keep up with the pace to track the runner from midfield. It was a good deep run, and it was a good goal from a Spurs point of view. But at the same time, it's a sickener that Costas was poleaxed. A yellow card, a second yellow wasn't given. And by the way, get off the pitch, and then they score. And the guy who scores it is the guy who shouldn't have been on the pitch. It fucking writes itself, like.
Yeah, yeah. It does. In fairness, it does. It's.
I swear to God, if I had my time over again, I'd have lamped a week's wages on him getting a winner because it literally the script was written. If anything was going to happen, it was going to come through. And I think overall, he had a decent game. He looks a promising player. And I don't think we'd have seen much of him this season because it's only through injuries I think that they're forced to play him. And he looks tidy. Fair's fair.
Antio says, lads, stop being so grim about the yellow. The deserve to win meter said we would win about 73% of the time. So sod it and move on. Of course, the deserve to win meter is the best thing to come out of the league this year. And Antio's checked it out there. He's got a blend of it off his Arsenal mate, and it said 73% Liverpool. They deserve to win. So there you go. Look,
on the Kulusevski one at the end, the first one, Diaz goes down with that, Poirot with that well-known defensive technique of two hands on the back to push a guy over, solid defending. You don't expect a penalty for that one. But if you're going to lamp the leg out of someone's standing foot, and the ref either doesn't see it or he sees it, which is worse, and decides, no, that's not a foul, it's open season. It's open season to kick the living shit out of anyone.
Yeah,
you can do what you like now.
Yeah, it's Simon in the super chat. He said it could have been 4-0. Ali saved the error and offside. Look, if you went through it, Spurs probably could have scored 3 or 4. We could have scored probably 3 or 4 as well. Yeah, but the thing is, we didn't because I don't think the quality was there on either side. It really wasn't. Look, before we go, the thing that's come. I better do this. Some quotes. So I'm going to try my best to put these on the screen, and Ashley's going to read them out. I apologise if they're in the wrong order. I apologise if you're missing some, but I'm doing my fucking best. Okay? Here we go. First of all, Ashley, it's Virgil van Dijk had some things to say.
Yeah. So Virgil was interviewed post-match. He said, I think it was quite obvious it was going to be a second yellow. It was pretty clear. A minute later, he scored the winner. He made a mistake, in my opinion. I told him that. He thinks he didn't.
Okay, and he continues on then to say...
He says, the fact is he would have been off. There is a linesman, there is a referee, and VAR. I'm not saying that this is why we lost.
And Virgil continues.
It's halftime now. I'm looking forward to the second leg at Anfield.
Yep. And he seems to be really looking forward to it because then he says this.
He says, we move on. We take it on the chin. We have 90 minutes plus to go. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the second leg. Good
stuff. Postecoglou's quote with regards to the foul, where it looks like he's making stuff up, to be fair, is there, but we'll leave that. Actually putting a quote, stat there to say Liverpool have suffered only their second defeat of the season in all competitions. 1 versus Nottingham Forest, ending their 24-match unbeaten run, 120 and drew 4. It's also the Reds' first away defeat of the season. This is important though. Ange did say something that I was happy to see with regards to Bentancur.
Yeah, so I threw that in there because I do think that was a concerning moment at the beginning of the first half.
Hugely concerning moment.
It was very, very concerning. So Ange has confirmed he's conscious. He's gone to the hospital to get checked over. We're worrying, but from what I know right now, he will be okay. So that is good news. We never want to see a player of any opposition team or our team go down like that.
It looked really serious at the time. It looked really serious.
It's a bad one when all the cameras do is just don't show a replay and just focus on the bench.
Yeah, or
that's
the crowd or whatever.
The crowd, you go like, that's not when you go like, oh, this is a pretty serious one.
Yeah, and there's no point speculating in terms of what happened because there's all sorts
all
of
the players just
right now.
all the players just walked away.
There was a quick reaction by a lot of people, and then when the players gave them the space to do their work. Yeah. Anyway, anybody ready for an Arne Slot marathon of quotes? Settle in. Here we go. Right. He starts with this, Ashley.
Yeah. He says it's 15 to 20 minutes after the game. It's not so difficult to be calm. In the moment, it is more difficult to accept it.
Arne Slot then has a say on the referee.
He says the decision he made had a lot of impact on the result tonight. I think that's fair.
And then he seems upset.
Yep. He says if a player gets treatment, he has to go out for 30 to 45 seconds. I don't always understand why this is necessary.
Okay. And then he's obviously had a word with the referee because he says this.
He says, on the referee decision, he said he didn't stop the counterattack. Every manager would prefer a second yellow than a free kick.
Okay. And again on the referee, then he finishes up with...
he says, I don't know. Even the referee was thinking, is this really happening? Did he just score the goal?
The ref standing there going, oh, I don't believe this.
It was actually quite funny. He was very salty post-match, and I love that about him.
Yeah. Look, before we go, we're approaching a third of the way. We're a quarter of the way-ish through January. Of course, the window is open. We have seen, Bradley coming back there with some minutes. Quansah is only ill, so he should be okay, hopefully for the weekend. Beyond that, Gomez is out for a couple of weeks. You've got Tsimikas getting minutes there. Robertson's okay. You have Virgil van Dijk. The two keepers are healthy in midfield. Everybody's okay, bar Szoboszlai, who is ill and should be okay for the weekend. And up front, Jota's coming back to make that. Chiesa, if you want to count him as a six-man, you can, but he's not getting minutes. But overall, the squad is quite healthy going into the next period of games. But quite a few people in the chat have mentioned, look, we weren't good against United. We weren't good tonight. There's some circumstances around tonight in particular for me. It just wasn't good enough. But a lot of people in the chat are going, listen, we need to help this manager out now. We need to probably bring in a player or two just to help us out and go from there. Kev, I'll come to you first. I think most of us have said, without going back to the summer, I'm looking at now, and you take Arne Slot's sort of comments on board where he said, look, I'm really happy with the squad and stuff like that. Where are you with this? Are you looking at it? And not just on the case of, we haven't been good in 2 games, we need to fucking do whatever. Where are you on this regards to?
I'm worried about Quansah, gotta be honest. Even when he's played, he doesn't look like it doesn't look like he did last season. Last season he had the odd mistake in him, but overall he was confident and he was playing with confidence. You could see that confidence in him. For that half an hour tonight, he was poor. He genuinely was. I didn't watch the Manchester United game. I haven't watched it back. I'm not going to bother. Just can't see the point in it. I can't see the point in it. But Chiesa is one that makes little or no sense. We were chatting earlier on before the game when we didn't think he was going to even be in the squad. He's on 120 grand a week. And
it's on 150 grand a week, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's
whichever figure is out there, it's still a lot of money. And unless you see him as a long-term option, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if something happens in this window where he goes back to Italy. He needs to play football. If he's not going to play football for us, he's going to have to play football for someone. Otherwise, he's as useful as a chocolate teapot next season. He's got to play. So whether it's a case he goes back to Italy on loan for the rest of the season and gets minutes and plays and comes back to us ready for the start of the next season, or we just look to say, yeah, thanks very much. It hasn't really worked out the way we wanted it to, and we look at something else if there's something else available between now and the end of this window. Other than that, I can't see anything happening for anyone else. We've got 8 defenders. It's just unfortunate with the injuries to 2 centre backs. It puts a lot of onus on the 2 that we have to stay healthy or to be available and good quality, and right at it. But at the minute, it's you're not going to sign someone to be a 5th centre back to play a couple of early rounds in cup games and then go and collect your 40, 50 grand a week. We're just not going to do it. We've used Nat Phillips for that, and that's about it. I just can't see us wasting money at all on anyone. I'd love to see us do something in this window, but I think I'm looking at the rumours that are out there for the players that are on the move, and I think clubs are going to have to really overpay to get who they want, or they're going to have to, or it's going to be players going on loans. For all the talk and the gossip, Sky are doing their best to engineer a transfer agenda some way, shape or form. There's not a lot happening anywhere across the board. And I think it's going to take one big move to trigger a few other moves that something may come up. But I don't think it's going to be until the end of the window, if at all. And by the way, Arne Slot has to turn around and give the diplomatic answer.
Oh yeah, of course he does. But
that's all that is.
Yeah,
I'm sure every manager would love an addition somewhere to a bit of cover somewhere, But he doesn't hold the purse strings. I don't think he has that much influence on players that come in either.
Yeah, but I think what you can do is you can only take on the basis of what you've seen and heard, and what we've seen and heard from Arne Slot is that him and Richard Hughes are constantly looking at recruitment and what can improve this squad. And he said that so many times throughout the summer, and he tried to do one, and it didn't happen. And you can go wherever way you want on that. And he has said he's happy with his squad, and that's a very diplomatic thing to say. He's not going to come out and say I'm not happy with my squad. Who does that? But like Ashley, I'll let Chris have the last say on it. Do you think we should do something? Do you think we will do something? They're both very different questions.
Yeah, they are. I mean, with our current squad, my issue is that the squad is no use to us if we're not playing a chunk of them. If we have 3, 4, 5 players that are making up our 24-man core squad that are not getting minutes at all, that to me is just taking up space. I mean, and that could be Morton, that could be Chiesa, that at this point, I hate to say it, but Elliott needs to be rotated in. We have players that are sitting on our bench that aren't getting any minutes, that if they're not contributing to cup games, where are they contributing? And maybe they play against Accrington Stanley and fine, they get their 90 minutes to kind of placate them. But that to me is not helpful to the squad overall. And I guess I'm worried looking at the way that some of the numbers are progressing, because if you look at Mo Salah, if you look at Gravenberch, if you look at some of our other players, they're on track to play more minutes than they ever have before. And I just think it's a gamble. In terms of, do they bring someone in? Personally, I don't think they do. I think that if you look at Slot's history, he's not someone that goes out of his way to try to bring players in. He tries to work with what he has. I think that he fits very well within the FSG model there, whether or not we want to admit that or not. I think the only way someone gets brought in is if there's some sort of release clause or some sort of weird like financial situation that a club is in where it's a very opportunistic signing. I just don't see it. But I am worried. I'm worried a little bit in the way that we're seeing the squad utilized. And I'm worried about the risk that we're taking there.
Chris?
I think we need a centre mid and I think we need a defender. Because he doesn't trust Endo and he doesn't trust Morton. So you can't really count them as squad options. He's used Quanta quite sparingly. And both left backs have had challenges this year. So he definitely could do with strength of defence, and I think he needs a midfield option. Now, the options are, do you look for a defensive one? That's one option. Or you look for a really top number 10, and then you could ask the likes of Jones and subs like to be options to play deeper. There's ways around it. Do I think we'll do it? Absolutely not. All the music coming out the club is they aren't going to do it, and you tend to just hear whispers from the way journalists the perhaps write things. You normally get an inkling that there's something in they think there's something brewing, but there's nothing. There's no sort of like foreign journalists who are sort of linking Liverpool to anyone substantial. So I think we go with what we have, which I still think that squad is good enough to win a league title, and they've given themselves a cushion. But I do think it would help them if they had a couple more options. And that's not buying options for the sake of options. They wanted a centre mid in the summer, and we didn't get one. But we know we went for one, and we've been going for a defensive minded centre mid now for 4 summers. We've missed out, I think, in every summer on our number 1 defensive mid target. So it's no secret the club want one because they keep going for them. If they were moving on from that profile of player, then we will keep bidding for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's definitely the club want one. But just the execution of getting one over the line isn't happening. In terms of forwards, I think we just stick with the 6 we've got. I think that gets reviewed in the summer. Again, it'd be like 1 in, 1 out because you're not going to carry 7. So, and probably the 1 out will probably be Darwin.
Yeah. For me, they absolutely should make a signing in January. Like if you look at what we have and what other teams have, I'd say if you stood the squads up against each other, you go, I think we've as good as options as anyone, right? I think that's a fair thing to say. I think we've as good as options squad-wise as Arsenal. We definitely have as good squad options as City. Spurs, whoever you want to. I think we have as good as options, compared to these teams. That's my opinion, right? But my big thing on this is go and strengthen. When you're in this position, go and strengthen. Go and find the player you want and pay for him and do it and bring it in, and everyone else looks and goes, oh, for fuck's sake. Look at this. Look what they've done.
What we did it with Diaz and Gakpo.
Yeah, we've done it with Diaz. We've done it with Gakpo.
It gives a boost.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think the evidence is also there with regards to... So let's take a midfielder for argument's sake, right? The defender, I'm with you. I think when you say defender, I think you think we need a left back. That's what I think you're saying, right? I could be wrong, Chris. But I don't...
I'd actually like someone who could play centre-back and left-back.
Right, and there's reasons behind that, right? But you see, that feels to me like you're trying to make a big statement in a position. Whereas this player's going to come in, he's our new left back. It's going to be all shiny and new. It's going to be great. My thing in midfield is I think we've really good quality in midfield, but I think you should add one. And I think you should. I'm not saying you drop Elliott off the face of the planet. I'm not saying you drop Jones off the face of the planet. I'm not saying you play this player less or play that. I'm saying if you bring in another midfielder for me in that engine room that just sparks your team and takes the tempo of the team, takes the team by the scruff, whatever it might be, whether that's a D player, whether that's a 10, whatever it is, I still think it's a Zuba Mendy type. I would absolutely go and do it in January. Not only because when we look at it and we say tonight, we kind of had to pick that midfield. And the reason we had to pick that midfield was because, 1, Szoboszlai isn't fit, and 2, Morton isn't fit. But the second reason is, he doesn't trust, like you said, he doesn't trust Endo or Elliott to go into the starting 11. He just simply doesn't, right? Yeah. So you need someone that that he can say, I'm okay with them being in the squad. He needs somebody that can go and go, I can absolutely play him. And I don't care if Gravenberch, McAllister, fucking Jones, Szoboszlai, any of these are injured or sick or whatever, I can absolutely put him in, and it does nothing to diminish my confidence in the team or the quality or the perceived quality in the side. And I think they should absolutely do it. Without a shadow of a doubt, they should absolutely do it. Will they? The evidence says no. And the only evidence, and that's not what we've done in January before. When we've done these things in January,
it was forced on us.
Yeah, but not even that, it was forced on us. When we done these things in January, it was completely different people doing it to what we have now.
But I say it was forced on us. other clubs were really strongly going for the targets that we wanted. And it was a case of act now or you're going to lose them.
It was
So
some
we
targets
acted
brought
and we
forward,
got
basically,
them.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But at the time it was a case of Spurs were going strong for Diaz, and Manchester
But you see,
United were really desperate to get Gakpo.
Yeah, but you have to be careful here, right? Like people saying, I'd get another forward in, I get a defender in, I get a midfielder in. You can't rock the boat too much. You can't change your squad too much because look, if we brought but listen, if we brought in, let's say for argument's sake, we come out tomorrow, we're loaning Chiesa somewhere, we're signing a midfielder, we're signing a left back, right? If we done that in the summer, people would say, "No, we need time to get these in, bed them in, new, someone in each area of the pitch. It's going to take time to be this, that, and the other." We don't have that. We don't have the time to do that. We can't bring 3 players in January, right, and say we're putting them all in and we have time to bed them in. We don't. We're in a title race. We need someone to come in that's just absolute quality, goes in there and goes, "You're fucking brilliant."
Players.
Yeah, like just straight in.
Look at Chiesa. Look how long he's taken to even. I don't even know if he's going to play.
Yeah.
We can't do that. If we're going to sign anyone, it has to be an immediate impact.
Absolutely. It has to be somebody where it basically has to be somebody that if you've decided you don't trust Endo or Elliot, right, these players come in and Endo or Elliot don't see a match day squad for the rest of the season, unless there's a massive emergency. That's what you need to go and do. Will they do it? The evidence says no.
And let's face it, there's plenty of games coming up to rotate them into. There's plenty of minutes for people. So it's not like you're bound and they're not going to play. There's plenty of minutes.
Yeah, I think. Look, when you have 2 games like we've had in the last 4 or 5 days, it does make you think of what should we get, what should we get. I think Liverpool should probably go back to a bit of their basics of what they were doing, and that was controlling the football when they had it, and when they didn't, they were making sure that they were very, very solid. I think if they go back to that, I think they do have the quality to beat any team in this league, to be fair. But yeah, need to go back to that. I think we've on Sunday, I think we ended up being way too hasty and way too, way too hasty and way too in a rush to do things, and it opened the game up for them. And tonight, I think the priority might have just changed. Glenn Boylan says Forest is a massive game now. Forest is a massive game. Brentford is a massive. They're all massive games, and other teams have massive games as well. At the end of the day, lads, look, we have a game in hand. We can go 9 points clear, right, with 17 games left or something like that. They're all massive games. They are massive. This little block, though, I get what people are saying, because Forest, Brentford, Bournemouth, City are our next 4 away league games, I think.
Well, it might be Everton now, because they might have...
Yeah, it might be Everton because they've slotted that in. Yeah, it could be Everton. So that's our next 4. If Liverpool go out and get back to what they were doing and win those 4 away games, you've Ipswich at home in between that, they'll win the league.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. They'll win the league. But you have to go out and do it. Coconut Coil says, and Coconut Coil, you emailed me earlier, I will get back to you this evening with regards to that. He says, Many would fit that quality that could slide in, but doubt Real Madrid would sell him now or for a fee FSG would pay.
I don't think they'll cost anywhere near as much as what you think.
I don't think players are going to cost as much as you think they're going to cost. I think there's a mad sea change in the amount of money that's being spent on players now. I think
he's also not. He's not playing for them because Camavinga's took his place.
No, he is. He is playing for Madrid.
And by the way, if you're going to sign Tchouaméni,
Camavinga's better.
Oh, Camavinga's a playing animal.
Oh, Valverde's the one.
Yeah, Valverde is the Swiss Army knife, but Camavinga is a serious player. Anyway, look, Kev, did I ask you what we should do?
No, I honestly think Chiesa needs to go back to Italy. And if you've got to do something, I'd do something if a forward becomes available. If a wide option, a right winger, a proper right winger, becomes available, that you can drop him off on the hour in games. You can rotate it and rest him or whatever. If that player is available and out there at the minute and you can bring it forward, try and do it. But you cannot have 120 to 150,000 pounds a week players sat on your bench, or worse, sat behind the bench, not even making match day squads. As good as I think Chiesa is, and I think Chiesa is an absolute potential world star, if he's not going to look in, he should be back in Italy. Yeah. It's just something with Italian players. it doesn't tend to work out well for us.
Yeah, I said it earlier, like, unless Chiesa turns the season around, I don't care if the spawn of fucking Paolo Maldini arrives at Anfield looking for a deal. I wouldn't be signing him. I just can't be doing it.
I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. But I just can't be putting myself through the emotion of it anymore. Let me see. Mark.
Ian makes a point there, actually. Victor Osimhen. He's
gone to Turkey
on
loan, yeah.
He's in Turkey at the minute. Look, I would.
Oh yeah, look, I'm not. I'm open to any suggestions. Liam makes a great point. He says Kev hates Italy now as well, which is fair. Mark says morale will be high amongst upcoming opponents after that stutter in the last few games. We need to stamp that out this weekend. I couldn't agree more with you. I think Liverpool need to nip this in the bud really quickly, and I think the way they do it is they go out and they make sure they look after the ball and they cover each other. I think if you do that, I think Liverpool are absolutely fine. They've just gone away from that a lot on Sunday, and tonight, again, I go back to priorities, but again, you should be still looking after each other.
It's a quick turnaround, this one, isn't it? Is it the Cup game? Is it
Saturday Tuesday?
Saturday lunchtime, isn't it?
Yeah, 12 o'clock Saturday, and then we're away Tuesday night. Yeah.
We're away Tuesday night, so it's quick turnaround in these games.
Yeah, they'll all come quick. They come quick for everyone. That's how it is. Anyway, look, I didn't enjoy the game. I didn't enjoy the result. No. But that's how it goes. You can't win them all. Thanks a million to Chris, to Ashley and Kev for joining me. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat for all your comments, and we've read out as many as we possibly can, and we read them all, and we read out as many as we could as well. And look, we're 1-0 down. There's still a second leg to play. There's some huge games coming up, and you never know. Liverpool might just decide, listen, that's enough of that. Let's go and get back to what we're doing. And if we got a signing in January, absolutely brilliant, because I do believe a signing in January will push us over the hill and far away compared to the other teams in this league. That's just where I am on it, and I think we need one to protect other players and just to give us that extra push. But you never know, it could happen. Tomorrow we will have a show, the standouts, which will be the stands out from this game, where I'll have a look through them. That should, I don't know what time.
It should be a short show then.
Yeah, about 5 minutes that show will be. It'll probably just turn into like a bit like the member show that was this morning, where we were talking about all sorts. It was so much fun this morning, by the way, the member show. I love them. We get so many fucking people giving out about them, going, there was no football in that show, but it was so fucking good. So I really enjoyed it. But we will be doing that standout / random stuff tomorrow. I'm not too sure on the time yet, but as soon as it goes out, you'll see it if your notifications are on. Tomorrow night is a member show. It's Football 101, where members can call in and put their things that they hate about football in the bin, basically. So that's going to be tomorrow night. Friday, we'll do an acronym preview Friday morning. Friday night is an open season Football 101, where we can get everyone from the chat to throw in their stuff they want to throw into Football 101. And we will have reaction to Accrington Stanley on Saturday from about 2:30, and we'll be back on Sunday with the Sunday night show. So there's loads of stuff going on for the rest of the week. I hope you've enjoyed the shows so far this week. That's about it. Enjoy the rest of your night, what's left of it, and we'll talk to you soon. Over and out.